Our last question for today, Brother Hassan from here in Dallas, he says that if a wife asks for divorce and then the husband divorces her, is that a divorce, a talaq, or is that a khula? So this is the question. If the wife asks for divorce, then the husband divorces, what will it be called? Will it be called talaq, or will it be called another thing we'll talk about now, which is khula?
وما أرسلنا من قبلك إلا رجالا نوحي إليهم فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون.
Now, before I begin, realize that the answer that I'm going to give is going to be based upon, generally speaking, the Hanbali madhab and an opinion of the Shafi'i school. However, there are multiple opinions out there, and so if you are going to follow a particular madhab, then ask your scholar, because these are very technical issues, and I don't want to go into the controversy today. Maybe in another Q&A I'll go into the more details about the different positions about khula. But all the madhabs agree that there's something called khula. What is a khula? A khula is when the wife requests her husband to finish off the marriage, and she also gives up her mahar back. So the khula takes place. So the difference between talaq and khula is that talaq takes place by the husband, and when the talaq is given, the gifts and the mahar are kept by the wife. So the wife keeps whatever the husband has given of the marriage. So the mahar was 50,000, 20,000, whatever it was. And for whatever reason, the marriage is not working out, and the husband, decides that this isn't working out and we just have to end. So he prays istikhara, he does his due diligence, and they maybe even try counseling. They decide it's not going to work out. So the husband gives talaq, in which case the dowry amount, the mahar, remains with the wife. And technically speaking as well, the gifts that were given over the course of the marriage, the general ruling, by the way, the general ruling is that if the husband divorces, then it is retained by the wife. Now, what if we flip it around and we say the wife is not happy for whatever reason, and the wife feels that this isn't working out, and it's not through a fault of the husband, because if it's the fault of the husband, maybe something can be done. We're talking about, so by the way, there's a hadith, Khawla bint Hakim, a great famous sahabiya, that she married famous sahabi Thabit ibn Qais, and she said, Ya Rasulullah, I have no complaints about my husband in terms of akhlaq, in terms of deen. But basically, to make a long story short, she basically said, I just don't find myself attracted to him. I don't find myself getting along with him on a personal level. I have no complaints about, he's a good man, he takes care of me, but it's just not there. The sparks aren't there, and I can't imagine myself remain married to, but for the rest of my life, basically. So she's basically saying, it's my fault in the sense I want to end this marriage, and it's not working out here. So she is the one initiating the annulment of the marriage. Our Prophet ﷺ said to her, will you give him back the garden he gave you? He gave her an entire garden, which is a very expensive thing, and that was the mahar. Will you give him back the mahar that he gave you? And she said, yes, I will, Ya Rasulullah. So the Prophet ﷺ said, okay, then the marriage is annulled. Now, this is a khula. And the khula is initiated by the wife, and generally speaking, ratified by a judge or by the husband, and she gives back the entirety of the mahar or a negotiated portion of the mahar. If the husband agrees to less, that's his choice. He can say, no, okay, you can keep half and give me half back. That's his choice. It's his haqq if he wants to do that. But technically, he has the right to demand the entirety. He's like, look, everything is fine from my side. If you want to leave, the marriage, and I haven't done anything wrong, then, the mahar I gave you, the 50,000 I gave you, well, then I should get that back. And so if she decides that, yes, indeed, I don't want to continue in this manner, then, and she's the one that wants to end, then she is going to ransom herself. That's what it's called, khula. It's like the ransoming, like she gives her money back, saying, look, here it is, and khalas, let me just, khula means to take away, basically. It's as if she she threw it back, or she gave it back to him, so that he could then, or she could then, walk away from the marriage. Now, this is a khula. Now, there are a number of differences between khula and talaq, and again, this is madhab based, so ask the particular madhab that you follow with the shaykh of your madhab. If you ask me, generally speaking, I give within the Hanbali school. Generally speaking, if I don't, then I'll tell you otherwise, but generally speaking, most of the stuff, the default is that I'm going to give you the Hanbali position. And so of the differences between khula and talaq is that the khula cannot be taken back by the husband. Once the husband agrees, khalas, end of story. The annulment takes place. And so the khula is not a talaq. This is another key point. It is an annulment, or the technical term is fasq of the marriage. Therefore, if the khula takes place, the husband cannot change his mind, whereas the talaq, he can change his mind. In the 3 months or the 3 menstrual cycles, he can change his mind. Once the khula is given, the lady leaves immediately. Excuse me. She does not need to spend 2-3 months or 1 month in the husband's house, nor is the husband obliged to take care of her during this time. She simply goes to her own home, or to her parents or brothers, wherever she wants, and she waits. And again, there's a big controversy how long. One position is that 1 month she waits, 1 cycle, and then she's free to remarry. Another position is 3 months, and then she's free to remarry. But the point is that whether it's 1 month or 3 months, that the husband does not have the right to return the wife, because now he's given it up. He's forfeited his right, because she has paid the money back. She's given his money back to him. Now he has no right over her whatsoever. This also means, according to the Hanbali school, that the 3 talaqs that are allowed, khula does not count as one of them. So khula has nothing to do with those 3 talaqs. If they wanted to remarry after a year or 2, they would have to do a new nikah. And if for whatever reason the husband decided to annul, to finish the marriage and to give talaq, that would be the first talaq. The khula would not count as a talaq. This is the Hanbali school. The Hanafis and others have different positions in this regard. So the point being, there's a number of key differences between khula and talaq. And I explained the main point is that khula is initiated by the woman and she gives the mahar back. And talaq is initiated by the man and the woman keeps the mahar. This is the main difference here. Now, our brother Hassan says the wife asked for divorce and the husband gave it. But there was no monetary exchange. There was no point of the wife saying, I'll give you the mahar back. This is not a khula. Rather, it is a request for a talaq. And a request for a talaq is simply a request for a talaq. That's all that it is. So, it is basically a simple request. The wife has the right to say, we're not getting along, and by the way, and again, I mean, we should always make these disclaimers. Just like we prepare for marriage and think about marriage and think long and deep, is this person the right person for me? We pray istikhara. So too, as we plan for marriage, we should plan for divorce if we are thinking of divorce. Divorce should never be done spontaneously. Divorce should never be done on the spur of the moment. It is one of the biggest mistakes. And by the way, out of the hundreds of emails I get every single week, the largest quantity are regarding divorce. A'udhu billah. It's really sad. The largest quantity about emails that I and every single shaykh gets, my husband did this, my wife did that, this, that. It's just marital issues. This is a huge issue and we need to really, talk about this frankly. Divorces should never be given on impulse. You plan a divorce even more than you plan the marriage. You think about it, you talk to people, you talk to your spouse, you try to work it out. And then if after all of this, and istikhara, and istishara, and talking, you both decide that it is best to not remain, then you decide for the divorce. And then what type of divorce? Is it talaq? Is it fasq? This is again decided. And again, as I explained, generically speaking, if the wife is dissatisfied for her own reasons, then it's going to be the khula and she should give the mahar back. And if the husband is dissatisfied for his reasons, then it is talaq and she gets to keep the mahar. In this case, if the wife asks for talaq, this is not khula, this is asking for talaq. And it will only become khula if she then adds on to it, look, I'm going to give you my mahar back. I want to end this marriage. Once she says, I want to give you the mahar, or take whatever you want from the mahar, 50%, 70%, she negotiates basically giving back what he gave her. Okay, because obviously, it should not be more, and anybody who does more than this has really fallen into the dhulm. No lady should give more than what has been given to her. This would be dhulm if the husband demanded more. But if he were to demand his amount and say, look, the mahr was 50,000, I treated you fair and square. I don't, if you don't like, me or whatever, then you want to leave the marriage. I want my 50,000 back. Then the wife says, okay, fine, I will give it back to you. The minute that negotiation is done, then they annul the marriage, they finish the marriage. In fact, according to the fatwa from the Hanbali school, one of the positions, even if he uses the word talaq, right? But in the context of khula, and what is the context of khula? The context of khula is if she gave the money. Okay, that he goes, okay, talaqtuki. He took the money, he goes, talaqtuki. Even he used the word talaq, but he took the money, and the context is khula. This is khula. So the main point of khula is that because the wife gave the money, she gained the freedom from her accord, and the husband has no right over her to say, hey, I changed my mind, I'm going to take you back. If there is no money involved, and she said, let's end this marriage, divorce me. And he says, okay, fine, I agree, I divorce you. This is a simple divorce based on the request of the wife. That's not khula. Requesting a divorce is a request of the divorce. It is not khula. So I hope that is inshaAllah ta'ala clear, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best.
يا من أجبت دعاء نوح فانتصر وحملته في فلكك المشحون يا من أحال النار حول خليله روحا وريحانا بقولك كن